And here we go to 5 red lights for the sprint race here at Albert Park. And it's go, go, go for the sprint race. And I think the Mercedes did get a pretty good start. And we're going to ride on, and we're going to ride with them as we go down into turn 1. A massive visual glitch as we go into turn 1 as the RB stays in P2. In the background there, we've got a Red Bull going side by side. The Red Bull gets in front of Nadu, who stays behind. And then we've got Steven and REVROB. Steven trying to go up the inside of their teammates. And can they move that? Can they make that move stick around the outside? Now they're going to try it on REVROB. REVROB gets spun there, and I think Luca was involved in that. I think, or one of the drivers, a bit of contact at the front there. I think that might have been between Sleek, Tim, and Reese potentially. I can't really see with the visual glitches as we see Jordan going very wide there. Actually, that was the other McLaren of REVROB. Both McLarens down at the back, so I think REVROB had a bit of a snap or some sort of contact and issue at the front there, as we see Pink trying to go around the outside of the Haas there. Cannot make that move stick, but the Haas gets a 10-second penalty for cutting the corner and gaining a position. Next driver that will be getting past Gabor will be Steven, as we have a VSC, and that was a crash in the back, and that involves Jordan. Jordan is facing the wrong way. They're finally getting going now, but they don't have any front wing, and that has triggered a few drivers to head into the pits. Will we see any positions being made as we go down into turn 11? And we're going to see the Aston Martin pull to the inside of the RB. And down the inside he goes into turn 11. Will he leave enough space? Yes, they do. Both drivers being very compliant. Into turn 12. And Leo just gets in front as we go into there. Some good racing there from those two drivers, as Luca goes down the inside of Reese there. As you can see, around the outside, he's going to try and make it. As he goes off the track there, has a snap and rejoins back in front of the Sauber. That could be a penalty coming his way, overtaking off the track. When will Rijkaards make the repass into the lead, though, if he can? As there we go, Luca down the inside of the Mercedes, and I think we're going to see Steven try and battle with his own teammate as well. And that is not what you want to see Ferrari doing with, a driver such as Luca behind you. You don't really want to be losing time to fighting each other. And now going into turn 11, are we going to see any moves being made? Nadu tries to pull to the inside, but doesn't decide to go for it. Oh, is the Red Bull there? Gets a slight snap, and that's going to allow Nadu to go down the inside and into turn 12 as well. The Aston Martin gets the move, and again, the Red Bull kind of pushing the Aston Martin through there. Down the inside goes Steven on the Red Bull, going into turn 13 and into turn 14. The Red Bull just stays in front, and we are now going to see Luca try and go down the inside of Techby in the Ferrari, but then pulls back to the inside with the DRS training. He does not need to go for that move if he doesn't need to, and Luca's going to sit and wait behind. As Techby goes into the wall there, gets a 3-second penalty for doing that. And we're going to see Luca go around the outside of the Ferrari and will get the move quite easily. And now next on the list for Luca is going to be the Ferrari of Steven. And here we go, Luca pulls to the inside of the Red Bull, and he's going to get the pass done going into turn 1. And we see Nadu as well go down the inside of the RB and gets into the lead. And Luca, I don't actually think had a good exit through turn 10. I think I was seeing that. And Rijkaards was trying to go down the inside. Both of those made a bit of contact. You see Steven now dive down the inside of the Red Bull, and he now gets into P4. Our sprint races work as Nadu there goes down the inside of Sleek. And I think we're going to see Jake go down the inside as well into turn 9 and 10 and gets the move. Will we see Techby try and make the move going into turn 12, or turn 11, sorry. And he is going to pull to the outside. Sleek is still going to try and be on the inside. Or Techby, if I should say, on the outside. But Sleek and Tim come together there in the background. Tim has another snap through turn 12 and into turn 13. Tim just about stays in P11. I think Jake might have had an issue, or Gabor has had an issue. Gabor's now in P8. Obviously, I know he's pitted, but Jake, I think he was sort of in the lead, and he is missing his end plate there. And he's now in between both Ferraris. Techby goes down the inside and sweeps past almost. I think Sleek has had a moment as well. Reese trying to go around the outside of the Williams, though. Goes a little bit deep into that corner, and Jake will stay in that order. And I think Sleek might be lagging a little bit, as we're going to see Techby breeze through that RB, as Luca also gets past as well. As Luca gets a 3-second penalty going through turn 10, and that might have just ruined his chances of winning the sprint today. He did say he did want to kind of start at the back of, for the race, but obviously we can't do that. But side by side go the Aston Martin and the Red Bull. Down the inside, the Red Bull goes into turn 12 as Nadu now picks up a penalty. He was forced off a little bit there Too wide in the background is Gabor and Steven, as Gabor stays in front at the moment. Obviously, there are a few other drivers in that pack who do have penalties of themselves. Steven, Techby, and Racer. He will probably, at best, come out still in like P8 or P7. Something like that. As you're going to see Tim and Steven go side by side there. Steven tried to go up the inside of Tim. Not able to. The Red Bull now of Reihard is going to try his look down the inside of the Ferrari. The Ferrari still going to try and hold it down the inside going into turn 13. Reihard will then have the inside once again for turn 14. And we might see Techby try a switch back here. Is he quick enough though? Techby is edging ahead just about, but will he be side by side with his own teammate? The Ferraris do not need to go side by side. And I think Techby does back out there, but Steven has gone a bit wide, and that allows REVROB to go down the inside of all three of them. As REVROB goes up to P8, side by side with one of the Ferraris. Can he get through on Techby round the outside? I think Techby is going to put up a good fight though. Round the inside is REVROB into turn 4 and into turn 5. And somehow Techby stays in front. Reese stays in P9, Reihard's in P10. Final lap of the race now. Leo and Luca. It's going to be a battle in the front. I don't think Nada can really do anything as Leo gets back into the lead of the sprint. Techby has retired. Has he crashed out? Yes, he has. His wheel is detached, I think. So that is Techby out of the sprint. REVROB gets past on Steven there. Can we see Reese try and make a move on the Ferrari? The Ferrari has gone a little bit slow there. Reese goes around the outside. Can he get the move done going into turn 11? The Ferrari is still there, and Reese does indeed get the move. Can Reihard now try and challenge it going into turn 12 there? Very close, a bit of contact, and the Steven tries to still fight this down the inside of the Red Bull. Leo is going to come across the line to win the sprint and take pole here in the main feature race. And as we spectate the battle, Reihard goes up to P6 there. Luca stays in P3 with Gabor taking P4. Or P3, P4 for Gabor. REVROB will start in P5 with Reihard in P6. Tim will then start in P7 with Steven in P8. Mattia Manga finishes in P10 with Reese starting in P10. Wait, P9, P10. Here we go though, to 5 red lights for the main feature race here at Australia. And it's going to be lights out and away we go. And I think the VCARB did get away pretty nicely. Again, a massive visual glitch going into turn 1. And I think the Aston Martin just stays in P2 of Nardu. The Luca has actually dropped place there into P3. And Gabor obviously still holding his place in P3. As you're going to see one of the red McLarens, I think that's a REVROB going down the inside of, I think it was the Red Bull, but then has to back out of that one. And the Ferraris, they're having a bit of a battle as we see Techby go down the inside of Sleek, but then has to back out of that one as the order starts to fix itself. Jordan down to P13 here, going down the inside of Pink. And that is Jordan now up to P12. Techby staying with their teammate of Steven as we now go out of turn 10 we go. And Luca is going to try to go down the inside of the Aston Martin. Can he get a wheel there? Yes, he does, and he's a full car length on the exit. Can we see Gabor now try and make the switch back on the Aston Martin down the inside going into turn 12? And to be fair, Gabor does get the move into P3. REVROB in P6. Trying to make a move to go into P5 though, but Reihard is in front. Tim right behind as well, looking really pacey. I think Jordan is going down the inside. Oh, is that Jake there having a massive snap in the background and whacking the pit wall there and breaks his wing. He will need to get that repaired. As we see Gabor now try to go around the outside of Leo, and Gabor could actually get into P2 here. Around the outside it goes into turn 11. And to be fair to him, he does get the move. Techby down the inside of their own teammate. They get through as well. As Jordan gets through down the inside of Tim. And I think Tim also got the move on Mattia Manga as well. And look at this. The two Ferraris are still fighting here. And the more they do this, the more they are going to lose places. Like they've already dropped DRS to REVROB. Sleek having a moment there and is facing the wrong way. Steven going down the inside of their teammates, get into P7. And Leo goes around the outside. Tries to defend it off Nardu. Nardu goes very wide. And that's going to allow REVROB and Reihard to get through there. And Nardu back down to P6. And I think they were in P4. Nardu is still going to try and fight this around the outside though of the McLaren. And the Aston Martin still side by side with the McLaren. I thought he was able to do it, but I guess not. Reihard's now pulling to the inside of the Mercedes. Can he get through going into turn 9? To gets into P3 here. Down the inside he goes. Still side by side. Into turn 10 we go. And the Red Bull is pushed off there. That was a very tight piece of track there. But the Mercedes stays in front. And now Nardu is going to be under pressured by these drivers as well. 3 wide into turn 11. Nardu is the worst stuff for that one. As they rejoin 2 places behind. A little bit of contact between Stephen and Jordan. Jordan has to go into the barrier. Stephen down the inside of Nardu there, going into turn 13, and Stephen gets the move and gets into P6. REVROB also up to P5 as well. Gabor and Leo going side by side there into turn 9 and 10. Reihard's actually also gets in on the action side by side once again, going into there. Yellow flags in the back. That is Tim. As Tim has spun there, Stephen gets a penalty. Down the inside goes Gabor on the Red Bull, and I think he will get the place. Can he go down the inside of the Alpine as well? Virtual safety car as Tim's car needs to be recovered there. Does he have a puncture as well? No, I thought he had a puncture. Just a broken front wing there. As we see a few drivers in, Luke comes in, Gabor in, right. Everyone has come in except for Leo. Like, even Pink is in as well. Everyone has come in apart from Leo. The ball gets into P4 and Leo is in the pits. Lap 11 he decides to pit. He's on onto the hard tyres, and it will be. So his tyres will be 3 laps fresher, I'm pretty sure. So Luca will inherit the race lead. How far down will Leo come out? I think he'll come out behind Reese, possibly. Cancels out that attempt, but down into turn 3. Will we see Leo try ascend on that Red Bull? The Red Bull moving to the inside. Leo's a bit undecisive. Eventually does go down to the inside into turn 3. Through turn 4 we go. The Red Bull is still there. The Red Bull pushing the RB off the track there. That could be a post-race penalty coming his way. The ball gets a 3-second time penalty, and that might just allow Reihard's to potentially win this. And the ball goes wide out of turn 1 as well, and will drop into P5. I think that's going to be made evident with Reihard's, as Leo's facing the wrong way. Out of turn 4. And he's not moving. I mean, I know he's trying to wait for a safe place, which is there. But that is not what you want to see. But Lucas stays behind for the time being, as Leo now retires from the session. And I think safety car. Oh, he crashed on purpose there. That could be a purposeful safety car. Ooh. Are we going to see anyone in? Here we go. Reihard is in. Luca in. REVROB in. Nardu, I assume, will be coming in. Yep. So is THB. I assume Jordan will be in as well. Stephen is going to be kicking himself. Jordan in. Matthew Manga in. Reese in. Stephen. A little bit decisive. That's cutting the pit lane, I think. But Stephen stays out. And he is going below. And he is limited. So that's going to be a penalty coming Reihard's way. Going unnecessarily slow under the safety car. You can't be doing that, unfortunately. And there we go. He's finally above 50, and he has gone. That is an unsafe safety car restart. But Luca is already trying to chase him down. How much, or how bad is he even going to be on those old mediums? I mean, Nardo is already over the back of that Ferrari, and we'll try and take him going into turn 1. Round the outside is going to do it, and easily gets into P4. THB is then going to be the next driver to overtake that Ferrari. Honestly, it'll be amazing to see, Pink actually finish in a fairly decent position. As Jordan, I think, has a snap there, and Pink's past Jordan. Go on, Pink. No, they're getting a 3-second penalty, and here we go. Luca going around the outside, which will switch to the inside. Luke gets into the lead. Nardu now past REVROB, but will that matter to him, as REVROB doesn't have any penalties? He's kept it clean. THB also in P6 as well. Pink is just under that 3-second gap of Stephen. And speaking of Stephen, he's been overtaken by his teammate as well. THB round the outside. Stephen is still going to try and fight this down the inside. Pushes his own teammate off. What are these Ferraris doing? And Stephen stays in front. I don't know what Stephen is doing, but he's obviously not. And THB's lost his head. THB crashes into his own teammate. What is THB doing? Gets a 10-second penalty. He retires on track. Jordan is there, but REVROB will take the Division 1 win here in Australia, with Luca finishing in P2, which obviously Luca finished P1 on track. Reese will take P3. Reihard's in P4. Matthew Maga P5. Nardu P6. Pink is P7. He's P7. Stephen in P8, but what was he doing? Jordan finishes in P9. But what was Tetsubi doing here? He just lost his head and just tried to crash out Stephen. What happened there? But what a race. What a final 2-lap shootout after the safety car.